Well, good evening. I trust that you're all tucked in bed now, and I thought that I would read you a book called Snuff by Chuck Palahniuk. Now, Chuck is another one of my favourites. I have an eclectic taste, much like music, and he's quite brutal. You know, he pulls no punches, and he can be quite depraved and a little saucy. He's a saucy minx. And he's the author of Fight Club. So, I thought that I would read an excerpt from Snuff. And because it has some fairly heavy adult themes and sexual content, if you have easily upset sensibilities, or you're a pearl clutcher, this one's probably one to miss out on. What year was it? I think this was 2008 that he wrote this one. So this is Snuff, and the first chapter is called Mr. 600. One dude stood all afternoon at the buffet wearing just his boxers, licking the orange dust off barbecued potato chips. Next to him, a dude was scooping into the onion dip and licking the dip off the chip. The same soggy chip, scoop after scoop. Dudes have a million ways of peeing on what they claim as just their own. For craft services, we're talking 2 folding tables piled with open bags of store-brand corn chips and their canned sodas. Dudes getting called back to do their bit. The wrangler announces their numbers, and these performers stroll back for their money shot, still chewing a mouthful of caramel corn, their fingers burning with garlic salt and sticky with the frosting from maple bars. Some one-shot dudes, they're just here to say they were. Us veterans, we're here for the FaceTime and to do Cassie a favour. Help her one more dick toward that world record, to witness history. On the buffet, they got laid out Tupperwares full of condoms next to Tupperwares of mini pretzels, fun-sized candy bars, honey roasted peanuts. On the floor, plastic wrappers from candy bars and condoms, bit and chewed open. The same hands scooping M&Ms as reaching into the fly and elastic waistband of boxes to stroke their half-hard dicks. Candy-coloured fingers, tangy ranch-flavoured erections, peanut breath, root beer breath, barbecued potato chip breath, getting panted into Cassie's face. Tweakers scratching their arms bright red, high school virgins wanting to lose it on camera. This one kid, Mr. 72, is looking to get deflowered and into history in the same shot. Skinny dudes keeping their t-shirts on, shirts older than some other performers here, sent out for the launch of Sex with the City a lifetime ago. Fan club t-shirts from back when Cassie was starring in Lust Horizons. T-shirts older than Mr. 72, silk screened before he was born. Loud dudes talk on cell phones, talking stock options and ground floor opportunities. At the same time, they pinch and milk their foreskins. All the performers, the Wrangler magic marker, their biceps with a number 1 and 600. Their haircuts a monument to gel and patience, tans and fogs of cologne. The room full of metal folding chairs to set the mood, dog-eared skin magazines. The talent wrangler is some babe, Sheila, with a clipboard yelling for number 16, number 31 and number 211 to follow her up to the stairway to the set. Dudes wearing tennis shoes, topsiders, bikini briefs, wingtips with navy blue calf-high socks held up with those old-time garters. Beach flip-flops still coated with sand, every step gritty with it. That old joke, the way to get a babe to act in a blue movie is you offer her $1 million. The way to get a dude is you just have to ask him. That's not actually a joke, not like a ha-ha joke. Except maybe us industry regulars, most of these nobodies, saw the ad that ran in the back of Adult Video News, an open casting call, a hard-on and a doctor's release to show you're clean. That was the audition. That, and nobody's shooting kiddie porn, so you had to be 18. We got shaved pecs and waxed pubes standing in line with a Down syndrome softball team. Asian, black and spick dudes, a wheelchair dude, something for every market segment. The kid, dude 72, he's holding a bouquet of white roses starting to curl, droop, the petals slack and starting to brown. The kid's holding out one hand, words written on the back in blue ballpoint pen. Looking at them, the kid goes, "I don't want anything, but I've always loved you." Other dudes carrying around wrapped boxes fluffy with bows and trailing ribbons, boxes small enough to fit in one hand, almost hidden inside their fingers. The veteran talent wears satin bathrobes, prize fighter robes tied with a sash, while they wait their call. Professional woodsmen. Half the men even dated Cassie, talked marriage, becoming the Lunts, the Desi and the Lucy of adult entertainment. Wasn't a performer at that shoot who didn't love Cassie right and wanted to help her make history? Other dudes ain't dicked anything but their hand, watching nothing but Cassie Wright videos. To them, it's a kind of fidelity, a marriage. These dudes clutching their little gifts, for them today is their kind of honeymoon, consummation. Today, her last performance, the opposite of a maiden voyage, up those stairs to anybody after the 50th dude. Cassie Wright will look like a missile crater greased with Vaseline. Flesh and blood, but like something's exploded inside her. To look at us, you'd never guess we were making history, the record to end all records. The talent wrangler comes around, calling out, "Gentlemen!" The Sheila babe pushes the glasses up her nose and goes, "When I call you, you'll need to be camera ready." By that she means fully erect, condom ready. The closest thing that comes to how the day felt is when you wipe back to front. You're on the toilet, You're not thinking, and you smear shit on the back of your hanging down, wrinkled ball skin. The more you try to wipe it clean, the skin stretches and the mess keeps getting bigger. The thin layer of shit spreads into the hair and down your thighs. That's how a day like this, how it feels to keep secret. 600 dudes, one porn queen, a world record for the ages, a must-have movie for every discerning collector of things erotic. Didn't one of us on purpose set out to make a snuff movie? Mr. 72. It was a lame brain plan bringing roses. I don't know. The first step inside the door, they give you a brown paper shopping bag with a number written on the side. Some number between 1 and 600. They say, "Put your clothes in here, kid." And they give you a wood clothespin with your same number in black pen. They say, "Clip it to your shorts, don't lose it, or you won't get your stuff back." The crew girl, she wears a stopwatch on a cord, hanging on her chest where her heart would be. Taped to the wall behind the table where you undress, they got a sign done in the same black pen on brown paper. It says how the production company isn't responsible for anyone's valuables. Another sign they got says, "No masks allowed." Some bags, guys put their shoes in with a sock balled inside each. Their belt coiled tight and nestled in one shoe. Their pants folded, the creases matched, and laid on top of the shoes. Their shirts tucked under their chin while they match up the arms and fold the collar and tails so as to make the least wrinkles. Their undershirt folded. Their necktie rolled and tucked in a pocket of their suit jacket. Guys with good clothes. Other guys pull off their jeans or sweatpants, balled up inside out, their t-shirts or sweatshirts. They peel off their damp underwear and they stuff it into the bags. Then on top they drop their stinking tennis shoes. After you undress, the stopwatch girl takes your bag of clothes, puts it on the floor against the concrete wall. Everybody, they're standing around in their shorts, juggling their wallets and car keys, cell phones and whatnot. Me bringing a bouquet of roses, wilting and all. More junk to juggle. It was just plain stupid. Getting undressed, I was unbuttoning my shirt, and the stopwatch girl, giving out paper bags, she points at my chest and says, "You planning to wear that on camera?" She's holding a bag marked with the number 72. The clothespin clipped to one paper handle. My number. The stopwatch girl points her gun finger at my chest and says, "That." Tucking my chin, I look down until it hurts, but all I can see is my crucifix on the gold chain around my neck. I ask if that's a problem, a crucifix, and the girl reaches out with the clothespin, squeezing it open. She jabs to pinch it on my nipple, but I pull back. She says, "We've been doing this a long time." She says, "We know to look out for you Bible thumpers." From her face, she could be a high schooler about my age. The stopwatch girl says how the actress Candy Apples, when she set her record with 721 sex acts, they used the same group of 50 men for the entire production. That was in 1996, and Candy only stopped because the LAPD raided the studio and shut down the production. She says, True fact. When Annabelle Chong set her early record, the stopwatch girl says, performing 251 sex acts, even with 80 men showing up for the cattle call, some 66% of them couldn't get their dicks hard enough to do their job. That same year, 1996, Jasmine St. Clair broke Chong's record with 300 sex acts in a single shoot. Spontaneous Ecstasy broke the record with 551. In the year 2000, the actress Sabrina Johnson took on 2,000 men, fucking until she hurt so bad the crew had to pack ice between her legs as she sucked off the remainder of the cast. After her royalty checks started to bounce, Johnson went public with the news that her record was bogus. At most, she'd done 500 sex acts, and instead of 2,000 men, only 39 had answered the casting call. The stopwatch girl points at the crucifix, saying, "Don't try to save anybody's soul here." The next guy, down the table, he pulls off a black t-shirt. His head and arms and chest the same even sun-tanned brown. A ring shines gold, hanging from one nipple. His chest hair lies flat, every hair cropped down to the same stubble size. Looking at me, he says, "Hey, buddy," he says, "don't save her soul before they call me for my close-up, okay?" And he winks, one big enough to wrinkle half his face around his eye. His eyelashes big enough to fan a breeze. Up close, he smoothed a layer of pink all over his forehead and cheeks. 3 colours of brown powder around his eyes, folded into the little wrinkles there, clamped under one arm between his elbow and tanned ribs. The guy holds a wad of white, maybe more clothes. On the other side of the table, the stopwatch girl turns her head to look both ways. She stuffs a hand into one front pocket of her jeans, asking me, "Hey, preacher, you want to buy some insurance?" The girl fishes out a little bottle, big around as a test tube, but shorter. She shakes the bottle to rattle some blue pills inside. $10 each, she says, and shakes the blue pills next to her face. "Don't you be part of that 66%. The guy wearing makeup, the stopwatch girl hands him a bag numbered 137, saying, "You want the teddy bear? Should go in your bag." She nods towards the white bundle under the guy's elbow. Guy 137 whips the wad of white clothing from under his arm, saying, "Mr. Toto is nothing so pedestrian as a teddy bear," he says. "Mr. Toto is an autograph hound." He kisses it, saying, "You wouldn't believe how old." The stuffed animal is sewed out of white canvas, a long wiener dog body with stitching down 4 stubby white canvas legs. Stitched on the top, a dog head with black eyes and floppy canvas ears. Crabbed all over the white canvas is writing, blue, black and red pen handwriting. Some loopy letters, some block letters, some with dates, numbers, a day, month and a year. Where the guy kissed it, the dog smeared red with lipstick. He holds the dog in crook of one arm, the way you'd hold a baby. With his other hand, the guy pointed out writing, signatures, autographs. Carol Channing, he shows us. Bette Midler, Debbie Reynolds, Carol Baker, Tina Turner. Mr. Toto, he says, is older than I myself would ever admit to being. Still holding the bottle of blue pills, the stopwatch girl says, "You want Miss Wright should autograph your dog." Cassie Wright, the guy tells us, is his all-time favourite adult star. Her level of craft soars above her peers. Guy 137, he says how Cassie Wright spent 6 months shadowing an endocrinologist, learning his duties, studying his demeanour and body language, before playing a doctor in the groundbreaking adult feature, Emergency Room Backdoor Dog Pile. Excuse me. Cassie Wright spent 6 months of research, writing to survivors and sending documents, court documents, before she set foot on the set for the adult mega epic Titanic Backdoor Dog Pile. In her single line of dialogue, the moment Cassie Wright says, "This boat's not the only lady going down tonight," her country accent is dead on, depicting exactly how hot the steerage free-for-all sex must have been in the final moments of man's worst sea disaster. In Emergency Room, he says, in the lesbian scene, with the 2 hot laboratory assistants, it's obvious that Cassie Wright is the only performer who knows the correct way to work a speculum. The critics, Guy 137 says, justifiably raved about her portrayal of Mary Todd Lincoln in the Civil War epic Ford's Theatre Backdoor Dog Pile, later re-released as Private Box, later re-released as Presidential Box. Guy 137 tells us, in the scene where Cassie Wright gets double-teamed by John Wilkes Booth and Honest Abe Lincoln, thanks to her research, she truly does make American history come alive. Still cradling his canvas dog, its black button eyes against his gold nipple ring, the guy says, "How much for your pills?" $10, says the stopwatch girl. "No," the guy says. He stuffs the dog back under his arm and reaches around to his back pants pocket. Taking out his wallet, he pinches out $20, $40, $100, saying, "I mean, how much for the entire bottle?" The stopwatch girl says, "Lean over so I can write your number on your arm." And Guy 137 winks at me again, his big eye looking bigger inside all that brown powder. And he says, "You brought roses," he says. "How sweet is that?" Mr. 137. You know those days at the gym where you're bench pressing 6 plates or you're one-arming your body weight in preacher curls? And one rep you're pumped and stoked, split-setting cable rows with wide grip pull-downs. You're knocking out reps and sets fast as you can rack the plates. But then the next set you're toast, wasted. Every curl or press is just more effort. Instead of powering through, you're counting, sweating, panting. It's not a sugar crush. Wouldn't you know it, the big shift is because some meathead at the front desk has shut off the music. Maybe you weren't listening, but when that music stops, working out turns into just plain work. That's the same doom you feel that drops in blood pressure when the music shuts off, 3 a.m, closing time at the Man Rod or the Eagle, and you're left standing, still unfucked, all alone. That's the big letdown you'll notice about filming a movie. No underlying music. No mood music. Down the hallway, in that room with Cassie Wright, you're not even getting wah-wah electric guitar porno jazz. Not only after the editing, after looping any dialogue, then they'll add a music track to improve the continuity. And wouldn't you know it, bringing Mr. Toto here was a terrible plan. But scoring a full bottle of Viagra, that just might pull me through. Across the waiting area, the real-life genuine Branch Bacardi is talking to Mr. 72. That kid holding a bouquet of wilted roses. The two of them could be before and after pictures of the same actor. Bacardi stands in red satin boxer shorts, talking while one of his hands rubs his own chest in slow circles. In his other hand he holds a blue throwaway razor. When his rubbing hand stops, his razor hand moves to the same spot, scraping away invisible stubble. The black plastic razor scratching in the short, quick strokes you'd use to hoe weeds in a garden. Branch Bacardi keeps talking, never looking down as his rubbing hand roves to another spot, feeling, then pulling the tanned skin tight as the razor hand shaves the skin from every angle. Right here, Branch Bacardi, star of the Da Vinci Load and To Drill a Mockingbird. The Postman Always Comes Twice, and the first all-singing, all-dancing adult feature, Chitty Chitty Gangbang. Even indoors like this, Bacardi, Cord Cuervo, Beamer Bushmills, all the male dinosaurs of the adult industry still wear their sunglasses. They pat and smooth their hair. They're the generation of genuine stage actors. They studied their craft at UCLA or NYU, but needed to pay the rent between legitimate roles. To them, doing porn was a lark, a radical political gesture. Between the male lead in The Twilight Bone or A Tale of Two Titties was a joke to put on their resume. After they were bankable, legitimate stars, those early jobs would become fodder for anecdotes they'd tell on late-night talk shows. Actors like Branch Bacardi or Post Campari, they'd shrug their tanned, shaved shoulders and say, hell, even Sly Stallone did porn to pay his bills. Before becoming a world-famous architect, Rem Koolhaas did porn. Across the waiting room, a young lady wearing a stopwatch on a black cord looped around her neck. She stops behind Bacardi and writes the number 600 on his arm. The 6 at the top, a 0 below it, the second 0 below that, the way triathletes are numbered, with a thick black felt-tipped pen. Indelible ink. Even as this talent coordinator writes down the outside of each bicep, writing 600 on one arm, then the other, Bacardi keeps talking to the Roses kid, his fingers probing his own ab definition for stubble, and the plastic razor hovering ready. The men who aren't eating potato chips are scratching away with plastic razors. They squeeze pimples, or they squeeze tubes of goo into their palms, rub their hands together and smear their faces, their thighs and necks and feet with a coat of brown. bronzer, their palms stained brown, the skin around their fingernails dirty, dark brown. These actors stand with gym bags at their feet, stooping to hunt for tubes of hair gel, bronzer, plastic razors, folding pocket mirrors. They do push-ups, their tidy-whities, streaked brown. Walk into the only John you get for 600 actors, a one-holer with a sink and a mirror, and the parade of buttocks have smeared the white toilet seat with layers and layers of brown. The sink smudged with bronze handprints, the white doorway clutched with a haze of brown finger, and the palm prints from porn dinosaurs stumbling blind behind sunglasses. It's hard not to picture Cassie Wright on the set, sunk into a bed of white satin, by now clutched and smeared and smudged, darker and darker with every performer. Minstrel porn. I take a pill. The talent coordinator stops next to me and she says, "Sure, go blind, but don't come to us for a settlement." I ask her, "What?" "Sildenafil," the young lady says, and taps her felt-tip pen against my hand, holding the bottle of blue pills. "Get it hard, but if you overdose, watch out for the non-arteritic anterior ischemic optic neuropathy." She steps away and I swallow another blue pill. Talking to the Roses kid, Branch Bacardi says, "They don't shoot the performers in order." Cupping a hand to lift one sagging pectoral muscle, he scrapes the razor across the skin hidden underneath, saying, "Officially, it's because they only got to 3 Gestapo uniforms, a small, a medium, and a large, and they got to call dudes to fit the costumes." Still shaving, he looks up and off, watching a monitor mounted near the ceiling that's showing a porn movie. He says, "When it's your turn, don't expect that uniform to be dry, much less clean." In every corner of the ceiling, you have monitors hanging down, showing hardcore adult films. One is The Wizard of Oz. Another plays the classic Grapes of Wrath. All of them Cassie Wright's greatest hits, none of them any newer than 20 years old. The Branch Bacardi's watching. It shows him a generation younger, riding Cassie Wright doggy style in World War I, deep in the trenches. That videotaped Branch Bacardi. His pecs don't sag and flap. His arms aren't red with razor burn and rashy with ingrown hairs. The hands gripping, the fingertips almost meeting around Cassie Wright's little wrist. The cuticles aren't outlined with old bronzer. The live Branch Bacardi, the roving hand in his razor hand stops as he stares at the monitor. With his razor hand, he slips the sunglasses off his face. He's still frozen, only his eyes move, snapping back and forth between the movie and the kid's face. Under his eyes hang crushed, crumpled folds of purple skin. Under his suntan, purple veins climb the sides of his nose. More purple veins climb his calves. The young Branch Bacardi, who pulls out and blows his money shot all over those pink cunt lips. He looks exactly like the kid with the wilted roses. The kid, the talent coordinator, has marked number 72. Number 72, cradling his roses, he stands with his back to the monitor, not seeing. This kid is watching the monitor behind Bacardi, the movie World War II Island Hopping, where Cassie Wright deep-throats the erection of a young Horatio, intercut with shots of the Enola Gay approaching Hiroshima with its deadly cargo. It was after World War II won the Adult Video News Award for Best Boy-Girl-Girl Scene, where Cassie Wright teamed with Rosie the Riveter to suck off Winston Churchill. It's that year that she took a long sabbatical from movie making. 1 full year. After that, she went back to her regular schedule of 2 projects every month. She did the epic Moby Dick. She racked up another AVN award for Best Anal Scene in A Midsummer Night's Dream, which went on to sell 1 million units in its first year of release. Into her 30s, Cassie abandoned films in order to launch a brand of shampoo named 100 Strokes, a lilac shampoo packaged in a tall bottle that curved too much to one side. Stores hated to stock the tipsy bottles, and no one hit the website to place orders until she arranged product placements in 2 movies. In Much Ado About Humping, the actress Casino Curvasaur slipped the bottle inside herself and demonstrated how the long, curved shape bashed the cervix with perfect deep vaginal orgasm every time. The actress Gina Galliano did the same trick in The 12th Night, and retail outlets couldn't keep 100 Strokes in stock. But wouldn't you know it, Walmart wasn't happy about being tricked into stocking sex toys in the same aisle as toothpaste and foot powder. There was a backlash, then a boycott. After that, Cassie Wright tried to stage a comeback, but the monitors here won't be showing any of those movies. Pony Girl films shot for the Japanese market, where women wear saddles and bridles and perform dressage routines for a man cracking a whip, or fetish movies like Snack Attack, a genre called splosh films, where beautiful women are stripped naked and pelted with birthday cakes, whipped cream, and strawberry mousse, sprayed with honey and chocolate syrup. No, nobody here wants to see her latest project, a specialty film called Lassie Come Now. Among industry insiders, the rumor is that the movie we're shooting today will eventually be marketed as World Whore 3, the whore to end all whores. The moment in World War I when the doggy scene shifts to 3 doughboys liberating a convent of French nuns in Alsace. As the new scene starts, Bacardi slips on his sunglasses. Without her habit and wimple, one of the nuns has a thong tan line. None of the nuns have any pubic hair. Bacardi's fingers stroke the skin around one nipple, and the razor starts to scrape. The talent coordinator with her stopwatch and black pen walks past me saying, "Those 100-milligram pills, so look out for dizziness." Counting on her fingers, she says, Nausea, ankle and leg swelling. I take another pill. Across the room, Branch Bacardi leans forward a little and reaches both hands around to the small of his back. With one hand, he stretches out the elastic waistband of his boxer shorts. With the other, he sticks the plastic razor inside the red satin to start shaving his butt. The talent coordinator walks away, still counting. Angina, she says, irregular heartbeats, nasal congestion, headache, diarrhea. That year, the one full year that Cassie Wright took off at the height of her movie career industry, insiders rumoured that she had a child, a baby. She got knocked up doing a reverse cowgirl when Benito Mussolini lost his load inside her. You hear how she put the baby up for adoption? Wouldn't you know it? Mussolini was played by Branch Bacardi, and I take another pill. And I think I'll leave it there. I hope that you enjoyed this brief, 41 minutes worth of Snuff by Chuck Palahniuk. And sorry if I fucked up a few words. This shit isn't easy. But please come back. I'd be grateful for, any recommendations. Thank you. And I hope you have a pleasant sleep.